Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we are going to be doing yet again another unboxing. So the last unboxing we did was an April Fool's thing. That wasn't actually a legitimate unboxing, but this one, I can assure you this one is a legitimate unboxing. I have opened the box briefly just to see what it was, because I do have some other non-YouTube related stuff coming, so I just wanted to make sure that I was actually opening the right parcel. And this is it. This is actually a model I'm very excited for. It's not a new model, it's one I had to find on eBay. It's quite a rare one as well, and it's quite significant in a few different ways, but I'll get to all of those different things when I actually get it out, which I will do now. So, unboxing the box, you can see that this aircraft that we have is the Gemini Jets Ethiopian. Okay, the box is a little bit damaged, but oh well. The Gemini Jets Ethiopian 777-200 LR. Now this is, if I recall, the first 777-200 LR that I've got, basically. All of the other 777s I have, I believe, are the ER variant. LR obviously stands for long range and ER stands for extended range, so this is my first 777-200 LR. There are a few little differences which I will get into, but first I'm just going to draw attention to the box. Now this is a 2011 release, so again it is, you know, a 9-year-old model at this point, and I'm pretty excited about this. I'm hoping it is in good condition because I paid, I think it was without postage about 65 quid for this thing. It is quite a rare model, so that was actually quite a good price. The reason why I got this aircraft is because I think you can see off to the side, I have this aircraft. This is the Ethiopian 787-8. This was made by Phoenix Models. Now, Ethiopian do come to Dallas. They come in the morning. Of course, now that's a little bit messed up. Ethiopian are flying a lot of flights to Dallas at the moment, which is surprising, from Lome and all these different places around Africa. I'm not really sure what's going on, but scheduled service. Ethiopian will fly from Addis Ababa up to Dublin. They stop in Dublin, and then they fly from Dublin to Dallas, and then back from Dallas they fly direct to Addis Ababa. They're one of the first flights to arrive in the morning. They arrive with Emirates and Air India, and those kind of aircraft, of course, on a normal schedule. Now usually they'll operate the 777-200. They do operate also the 787-8 and the 777-300, but primarily they'll operate the 777-200 LR, which is the main reason I wanted to get this aircraft in particular, because I do have an Ethiopian aircraft, the 787, but I wanted this one to, you know, complete, well, not complete, if I wanted it to be complete I would still need to get a 777-300, and they have started flying, of course not scheduled services, but they have flown the 787-9 from other places. But without that, we're just gonna, without further ado, I guess you could say, we're just gonna go ahead and unbox the model. Now the box is a little bit damaged, but that's not, you know, it's a 9-year-old model, it's gonna be a bit damaged. And okay, what's blocking it here? Okay, the box is very damaged, but there we go. And getting it out there, seeing it in the plastic, it does look pretty good. It's still got this like plastic in there, so that's pretty good. I don't know whether this was used, well obviously somebody's had this for a long time, but I don't know whether they probably had it out of the box at some point, of course. But yeah, just taking this out of the thing, very tightly packed in there. Okay, this is, wow, that was very stiff. But yeah, here we have the aircraft. I'm just going to check the landing gear, and yeah, perfect condition. It has that little nose plastic piece that was on a lot of the older Gemini Jets aircraft. They've had a piece of like plastic wrapped around the nose like that. That's an old addition to more older Gemini Jets aircraft. And yeah, here we go. So starting off the front here, it's notable, you can see that this is obviously the older mould of the 777, which I actually prefer from Gemini Jets. Their newer mould, I don't really like the landing gear on it. It does roll, but for me it just seems a little bit off. I much prefer the older mould. I've got the British Airways 777-200, the Emirates 777-300, and the Air India 777-300. I think I've got more, but all of those aircraft are in the old mold, and I prefer it to the new one. So yeah, that means the first thing we can note is the landing gear. The forward landing gear there does not roll, which I actually, as I've said many times, I actually do prefer that on some of the older Gemini Jets aircraft. And then moving up to the cockpit there, we have the cockpit windows, we have the lion emblem, then we have the L1 door, the Ethiopian titles. I wouldn't be surprised if Ethiopian do opt for a new livery sometime in the future. It just does seem a little bit outdated, like even with this font, it just seems very kind of, you know, 1990s/80s, and they've had this livery for a very long time, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do announce they're gonna adapt to a newer livery. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. Then moving back here, we have the L2 door, and then moving on to the wing there, we have the main landing gear there. There's a little bit of damage on the middle wheel, as you can see there, but it's not too bad. It's all in pretty good condition. Then we have the wing here, the engine there, and then moving back we have this. Now I'm not sure whether this just says Ethiopian in another dialect or something. I'm not really sure what this is, but yeah. Then moving down there we have the Blue Nile, which is, of course, I don't know whether that's like a name for each of its aircraft, but I know the Blue Nile is a section of the Nile River. You've got the White Nile and the Blue Nile, I believe. So the River Nile splits off at an intersection somewhere in Africa, and then it splits into the Blue Nile and the White Nile. I believe this should mean that the Blue Nile flows through Ethiopia. Then I know one of the routes goes down through Sudan, and yeah, I'm not really sure. I know there's a lot of drama with the Nile. Ethiopia are trying to build this new dam or something. Well, it's been going on for a very long time, so not really new. They're trying to build a new reservoir, and you know, Sudan isn't liking it and all of that. So there's a lot of drama politically with the River Nile flowing through Ethiopia. So that's quite interesting. But then moving on to the back there, you can see we have the tail. Now, fun fact: when I was very little, I think 2012 kind of time, I was, what was I, 10? Was I 10? Yeah, I think I was 10. I saw this aircraft at Dulles, and for some reason I thought that this was like a cornflakes plane, like a Kellogg's kind of aircraft. I'm not sure. It doesn't, looking back on it now, it doesn't look anything like it, but for some reason the 10-year-old me thought, you know what, that looks like a Kellogg's plane. I also thought the Korean Air logo was the Pepsi plane that carried Pepsi everywhere, which is more understandable. This one less so. But yeah, there we have the tail with the green, yellow and red, and down there we have the registration, which is Echo Tango, wait for it to focus, Alpha November November, and then we've got Boeing 777-200LR. That does conclude the model, but what I am going to do now is I'm actually going to get out my British Airways 777-200 and probably my Air India 777-300 and kind of compare them. Okay, so I've gotten out a few of my Gemini Jets 777s. These are all of the different variants that I have. So of course we've got the 777-200LR, the 777-200ER, and then we've got the 777-300ER. I don't have just the 777-300 from Gemini Jets. I do have the Korean 777-300 from Phoenix, but I won't add this in because obviously it's Phoenix and not Gemini Jets. Then in the back there we have also the 777-200ER and the 777-300ER. These are both from Gemini Jets, but these are the new molds. These three at the front here, these are all of the older molds, which I actually prefer the older mold to the newer mold. And you can kind of compare them. The main two that I do want to compare though is these two. Of course we've got, well, you know the difference between the 200 and the 300. The 300 is a lot longer. However, these two are the more subtle differences, I guess you could say. The main difference being in the wings. I don't know if you can see that, but the wings on the LR are a lot more like pointy than the ER. I don't know if you can see it. I'll try and show you here. So we've got the wing from the ER on the left here, and then we've got the wing on the LR on the right here. The LR resembling more of like a 787 kind of shape, I guess you could say. Maybe this was them trying to test out the wing designs for the 787, of course, the 787 being the aircraft to follow the 777. And yeah, so that's quite interesting to note all the little differences. Okay, so just looking online here, I didn't actually know any of this before, so this is quite interesting even for me. So the LR actually entered service. The first one took passengers on a flight in 2006. That's the LR, that is, and then the ER. And then the ER variant, which is this one, entered service in 1997, in February of 1997. So this one is the newer aircraft. However, I do see a lot more 777-200 ERs about. I mean, it even shows that this is my first LR aircraft. And I've got multiple of these ones. This one seems to be a lot more popular. However, this one is a more updated model, I guess you could say. I don't know whether the reason why a lot of airlines, well, I mean, you know, there are a few airlines that go for the LR but not in comparison to the ER. I'm wondering whether this was because at this time maybe airlines knew of the 787 production and maybe they were saving, you know, instead of going for the LR, maybe waiting until the Boeing 787 came out and then opted for that, because I'm pretty sure British Airways in particular did skip the LR. I don't believe, don't hold me to this, but I don't believe British Airways did go for any LR 777s. And they did go for the 787, but they've got a whole fleet of ERs, so that's quite interesting to know. But yeah, apart from that, that's kind of been my unboxing of the Ethiopian 777-200 LR. It's a really nice model. I really like getting older, rarer models as well. I've got my Air India back here. This was one I got about a year ago. However, this is a 2010 release, I think. And yeah, both of these aircraft were quite expensive, to be honest. This one was, as I said, 65 quid. This was 120 quid. This one back here, I did get that back when they were in circulation. The older model was in circulation, and so, you know, these older 777 molds will sell for a lot more than the newer mold, but I personally prefer them. But yeah, that's concluded this unboxing of this Ethiopian 777-200 LR. I'm enjoying buying these, you know, older aircraft that I need to get. I think I've got to try and aim for an ANA 777-300 ER at this point, because I've got the 777-200, but they operate the 777-300 to Dallas. But yeah, that's all in future purchases. But for now, I hope you did enjoy this video, and until the next time, I will see you in the next video. That didn't really make sense, did it? Yeah. Anyway, bye.